The Internal Revenue Service terminated Harry and Meghan's charity foundation due to fraudulent activities. This is a major setback for the pair since they were just beginning to acquire notice and support from the general public prior to this development. This news has shaken the royal family to its very foundation and demonstrates how preciously the royal family is perched on the brink of catastrophe. Why doesn't Markle put a filing in for the state of California or Delaware? Why does their charity have a registration in the state of Delaware? The fact that Delaware's charities need only to give 5% of their revenue to true charities to meet the state's criteria for charitable status explains why the state is so popular. You may put 95% of it to use. So if you want to make a quick buck and look like a philanthropist, Delaware is the place to be. Greetings everyone, we hope you liked today's video of Royal Stories, in which we talk about why the IRS shot down charity foundation Harry and Meghan, immediately as Meghan skimmed 95% of the funds as income. But before we dive into that, make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. The Internal Revenue Service brought about the dissolution of Meghan's charitable foundation. Harry admits to planning 95% of the foundation's money, and they're lying to the Internal Revenue Service about it. Talk about a tax nightmare. Meghan likely had the expectation that she would have made billions of dollars by this point. Businesses have access to a wide variety of benefits in the state of Delaware. As a result, a majority of the corporations, tax-exempt organizations, and other types of nonprofit organizations, such as foundations and charities, choose Delaware as their location of their corporate headquarters. There are certain regulations that can shield the owners from having to reveal who really owns the company and from having to disclose their other information, both of which are required by many jurisdictions. This is possible thanks to the fact that owners are not required to disclose the information. As a direct consequence of this, it surpassed all other states to become the most popular state in the incorporation of business. However, nearly exclusively, the extremely rich use foundations to reduce their tax requirements. After it came to light that Harry had placed part of the money that he'd raised for the charity into his accounts, the Daily Express reports that the organization did not come into existence until March of this year. In spite of the fact that this was previously common knowledge, it came to light that he had also appropriated 95% of the profits earned by the charitable organization. Despite the couple's best efforts to keep their distance from the foundation, it's recently been taken over by the British government and become an official part of the public domain. It's been reported that Harry is somewhat rattled by the circumstances, but he's not addressed the topic in any public forum as of yet. The actions of Prince Harry were described as deplorable in a statement that was released by Queen Elizabeth. It's not known for certain what will take place in the future concerning the foundation. Nonetheless, there is widespread conjecture that it will cease to exist in its present configuration. There's also the possibility that the government or members of the general public who believe they've been injured as a result of Harry's activities will take legal action against him. The accusations leveled against Harry are similar to those leveled against his father, Prince Charles, quite some time ago. It was discovered in 2012 that Charles had been utilizing donations to nonprofit organizations to pay for extravagant vacations as well as other personal stuff. He later conceded that he had used the donations for his gain, but he had maintained that he had done so solely to increase the amount of money that could be donated to charitable causes. Even though this narrative has only been brought to the public's attention in the past year, it's widely held that it is one of the factors that led to the end of his marriage to Princess Diana. After hearing the news that the IRS was conducting an inquiry, Harry received an overwhelming amount of support from people all around the world, in addition to receiving a lot of support from regular people in the United Kingdom and all around the world. The prince has received a lot of support from famous people who use social media and have expressed their solidarity with him. In spite of the controversy that has surrounded him, there's no question that he's a talented and generous individual. Leave your thoughts in the comment below, and thank you for watching. We're looking forward to catching you up in the next video.